What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Prophecy Podcast. We're at episode 25 this week, and we got super special guest, dope hip hop duo Phonetix is here with us. Co-host running a little late, so I'm just going to get right into sponsors. Every week, the Prophecy Podcast is brought to you by mpcstuff.com. This is the only place I go to for any replacement parts for any Akai machine I've ever owned. I recommend them highly. They got great service, and they're a great group of people over there. So check them out, mpcstuff.com. I Regret Nothing Apparel, small, black, Maine-owned, small business. Doing big things, great social messages, quality apparel. Check them out, irnapparel.com for more information on that. Firearm 4 down there at 367 4th Street in the heart of Portland, Maine's Old Port. They got medical cannabis in there. If you got your med card from any state, they'll honor it. Head in there and get some of that fire on 4. Elevate Audio and Visual, doing playlists, placements, music videos, graphic design, production, anything you can think of, pretty much you can handle it. Check out elevateaudioandvisual.com for more information on that. Shout out to What's Happening in Boston. Check them out for events and other things going on in Boston and Massachusetts and New England. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. And last but not least, Barsoverbars. Shout out to Hero, just turned 23 the other day. And yeah, so without them giving us this avenue, we wouldn't really be able to do the show. So shout out to them. And without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest, Phonetix.
What's going on, y'all?
What up? What up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey.
So, how's it going, gentlemen?
Doing good, man. We had a fucking full weekend.
Yeah.
We had a giant performance yesterday at Bridgeside Cypher, which is shout out Aaron King, all those guys.
Yeah.
Just Jill, Gio Da Vinci, and all the rest of the squad because they're fucking doing amazing things out in Cambridge right now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we got to do that. Then we had a dope after party that was just like a fucking really, really cool space type, environment. We got a squad that's really just pushing us way farther than we used to going. So it's been kind of nuts lately. But thanks for having us. Seriously though, 'cause it's absolutely
Yeah. It's been planned out for a little while, but we had higher than expected turnout when I first announced that we'd be doing a show like this, and I reached out to like everybody I knew, and then Hero recommended a bunch of people too, and I was able to like book the show out until like October. We started in like I think February. I can't even remember at this point. I think it was February, late January, something like that. And I booked out like 40 or fucking something weeks right off the bat. I was like, damn, okay, that's gonna be a little. I was like thinking, I'd be trying to look for people every week. I'm like, I'm gonna have to be looking for someone every week. But no, there's enough people out there who kind of. It's a great way to promote what you got. So we're gonna play music from you, and it streams live on my Facebook and YouTube and Barsoverbars and the Prophecy Podcast. There's probably like, I don't know, there's a pretty good reach there anyway. So it's good to have networking and stuff like that and be able to kind of let the fans know and other people who don't know who you are learn about you a little bit, see shit firsthand. So yeah, it's been good. We got a bunch of people who usually tune in, usually are like regulars. There's this dude Lucifer, he's always in here. He's not here yet, I don't think, but at least in the chat. We got Leo Casino. Shout out Leo Casino. What's up, man? So I'll keep the chat open and check for things periodically. If anybody is watching and they got any questions and stuff like that, we'll check that around probably 9 o'clock. Usually we do smoke break at 9 o'clock, and we take questions or we play some music at that point. So, but how we usually will start this off is just kind of break down, both you guys' bio, how you started off, when you started off, where you started off, that kind of stuff, up into when you guys met and how all that kind of happened. Let everybody know.
Yeah, stress going.
Absolutely, yeah. So me and Noodles, we've known each other for I don't know how many years. we actually met on his stoop, which is kind of becoming a sacred spot. Like Pops could, in the bridge. Um, it was just a natural thing. As soon as we met, we both realized that we rap had similar mentality in those bars that we spit. It's kind of
Yeah.
been history, really, for me.
Yeah. When did you start spitting? Because I started spitting pretty early.
I mean, I started spitting personally, I don't know, like 12 or 13, where I was really starting to get interested in, Tupac and Biggie, a lot of the original names that you hear today. So, it's always been like it. Initially, I was attracted to the poetry of the whole situation, like writing poems
Mm.
and rhythmic value and messages that they can deliver. So,
Dig that, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times that's how it starts off, just being able to kind of write down your feelings and emotions and stuff and
absolutely.
make it flow. Yeah.
Tupac and Big. They were, so those are like initially what I heard, and it's like, okay, I want to write something like that.
Hmm.
My shit was Pharaoh Munch. I was just talking about this to someone last night. I think it was, yeah, Nate Dogg, Pharaoh Munch. Oh no. And I heard that on the radio
Mhm.
and I was like, fuck, this shit blew my mind. Because
Hmm.
even back then, I was like, there was one hip hop station in Boston and it's jamming, it's fine, but it's,
Yeah.
they don't really play that much local music.
No.
Underground stuff at that time. I think that song was just starting to blow up, and it was like one of those late night shows where they played a little more less mainstream stuff. Um, I heard that shit, and I was like, the fuck, because it didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard. But when I was 9 or something at that
Yeah.
point, and I was like, I listened to rap music. There was just all sorts of stuff on the radio, but there wasn't nothing that sounded like that. Where fucking Pharaoh just tears that fucking track apart, and it's like I can still listen to that song. It just gives
Oh
me
yeah, that's still in the rotation right
yeah,
now. Like, yeah, definitely. It's timeless. This
yeah.
we can just say that. Yeah.
R.I.P. Nate Dogg. That guy's
Yeah.
severely missed in
Oh
today's fucking game. It's nobody ever. You can have a lot of singers and stuff, but no one brings that.
yeah. He just knew how to like. He was a really dope songwriter too. So he knew how to just come in with the right perfect shit. He was like, if he wasn't like G'd up in, like that G Funk era, he could have been like a mainstream singer. You know what I mean? Like even like in a group or whatever, or like solo, whatever. Even if he chose not to go that way, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he had options. He just chose to be G Funk. You know what I mean? But he was dope. It still amazes me when I hear stuff from Nate Dogg and be like, damn, this was like '92. Like wow,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, that's and I mean I've been rapping since I was like 12 or something, but like not well. When you start out, you're all you're trash.
Yeah.
I mean I was trash for a long time. Some people think I still am. And shout out to them. Fuck y'all.
Uh,
But it was just some shit you do when you're hanging out with your buddies and you just fucking, just freestyle some bars. Someone beatboxed back then, and you just switch off rap and beatbox and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I have a lot of people that have just been involved in the hip hop world, like the non-rap side of hip hop, graffiti, break dance, things like that, that are just, that those elements are just as important. I'm not visually inclined and I cannot fucking dance. So that's
The
just me.
pillars of hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Hell
we
yeah.
got some fucking unbelievable DJs out here these days. Like we're working with these ridiculous DJ producers now that are just like making everything happen. Actually, there's an event going on right now that I got a bunch of people at. It's Sunsets down on the docks in down by the hatch shell and stuff on the Esplanade. And
Hmm.
there's just an incredible amount of crazy DJs down there, just spinning a bunch of different styles of music.
Nice.
Sunsets and fucking Ginger Low, Ish, Dope Land, all those people, they're fucking creating this avenue for live music. It's just improvised live music in a place, and it's just like, hey, come to this place, no cover, just come have a fucking good time, and we're gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, that improvised shit was a great idea. There was a dude. Well, my former manager was trying to do some shit like that, where it was like instead of having an open mic night, you'd have like open aux night, right? So like you could come bring your drum machine down, or you could come bring your laptop down and play beats off it, or whatever you want to do live, and you get like a little bit of time to do your thing. And like he was having great success, but the place where he was doing it at, I think ended up shutting down or some shit. But I love that, and that was a little bit before COVID. I love that idea though because, yeah, there is a ton of people who are out there creating, and why just limit it to open mic? You know what I mean? Might as well leave that, bring all the creativity down. I like the whole idea behind it.
Also, shout out to Hero the MC for the free shows that was providing
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah, free shows for the artists always and forever.
Yeah, that's major because we grew up with. I'm not going to name names, but we grew up in a tough musical industry for Boston where it was
Yeah,
all about the dollar. And like you literally had great music. It was like, all right, well, sell these 20, 30 tickets, whatever. So shout
yeah,
out.
exactly. Yeah, it's definitely not really the way to go anymore. You don't have to do that to get shows, and he's only expanding too. So he's doing like 15 shows a month right now or some shit ridiculous, and that's only going to get larger because he's looking for a space, that's going to serve the purpose of being like a headquarters kind of where he could throw shows, he could do the merch, he could have the video editing and whatever and audio all in one place. So if we can get that locked down, a lot of things will open up. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm trying to help him as much as I can with whatever. But I think that's the plan, man. He's like saying 15 is a lot, but it's like we could do more. If it's not just he always has to be at every single show, and we can start splitting up those responsibilities and thinking about that. It could be you could be having two shows same night, different places, whatever, and
Absolutely.
it could be easily done. So hopefully, if COVID doesn't like bounce back and go crazy, an opening continues to happen and everything goes smoothly. And because every place he starts doing is wanting him back, which is a great thing. They're like, yeah, come back next month. So you can't
Absolutely.
really complain.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
people getting vaccinated, man. Get fucking vaccinated so that we can actually have a fucking music scene again.
Right?
One thing shuts down again, then we lose way more venues in Boston and Massachusetts. New England already has like very limited venues for hip hop. So, and you lose those with those shutdowns. People have to pay their rent. It's just fucked. Get fucking vaccinated. Everyone get vaccinated. Fucking quarantine. If you got to fucking quarantine, do that shit because I'm fucking trying to hear that shit.
Yeah. Um, Definitely get fucking vaccinated, but I feel like you could say that 1,000 times and it doesn't really make a difference. At this point, people I think who are going to get vaccinated have probably got it vaccinated.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're coming up with all these ideas, paying people and whatever else. It's like, damn, I got vaccinated, but I didn't get fucking paid. Like, where's my money at?
Yeah, I feel
It's
that,
just
but also like, there's a lot of people who like live, have family that's immunocompromised or whatever that are like, you shouldn't, people's grandparents shouldn't have to die so that motherfuckers get the point. That's ridiculous. Let's stop that shit right now. I know I'm not convincing anybody because anyone watching this is not gonna fucking listen to me. If they've already made up their decision, they made up their minds about that shit. But if you haven't gotten vaccinated, go get vaccinated or we're coming to fuck your mother.
yeah, it's definitely free, so go do that.
Yeah.
There's no excuse anymore at this point, really. Because yeah, we'll end up back in mass, and everybody loves all that. So like, and I don't care. They're like, "Yo, go back in mass." I guess we're back in mass.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if people would have just got vaccinated early on, we wouldn't really have to be dealing with this. I don't think so. There's that. So why don't you tell them a little bit about how you guys linked up and when that first happened, and how long you guys have been doing this phonetics thing?
So Stress told you like we met on my stoop. I was probably engaging in some herbal medicine, and I don't know what the content of we can talk. I'm assuming there's everything. We're all good to go with. Okay.
Oh yeah, dude. We don't really give a shit.
All right. Well, so yeah, I was smoking bud on the porch, and Stress was walking by with some people I knew, and I had never met him before, but we just came and fucking we were smoking together and just talking. Turns out we both made similar similar vibe style music. So it's just from that day, it was kind of like we were just taking it and came together. That was what 10, 12 years ago, 12 years
Yeah,
ago or something like
something
that.
like that. But
And So like aside from like a couple years off that we took in the early, certain things just happened, and but yeah, we've been going pretty hard for the last like 12 years, and then we just kind of it's very strange how in the last like 6 months everything's changed since like the world started opening up.
Yeah.
With people like Bars Over Bars or Cambridge Hip Hop. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're in a hip hop collective called Dope Land that is like an overarching like umbrella organization, not like the umbrella corporation, but that makes all the songs and stuff. But Dope Land is like a place that like they're really helping us like nurture and mature as like artists and creators. And we've only been a part of that for a few months now, but it's like kind of ridiculously transformed the way we work as far as like the pace of our creation, like writing more, way more beats to work on. Like the projects are kind of streamlined so that we know what we're supposed to be working on when we're supposed, like, instead of just like working on 20 songs at a time, they're like, no, work on these 2 songs, like
Yeah.
we're gonna get those songs finished, then move on to the two, like shit like that like our fucking scattered brained asses is hard. It's hard to kind of channel that creation in a direction. But yeah, it's been fucking ridiculous. So shout out to Oakland, like fucking
Yeah.
guys, Snotty, Ish, Sleaze, rest of the squad is like really working tirelessly to change the fucking terrain of the music scene around here.
Yeah. Yeah. COVID has been a great time for me creatively. Like I've just been making a lot of stuff, and it's enabled me to do a lot of different things too. So, um, I was able to kind of skate through, the pandemic, and just kind of be a hermit for a lot of it, But I got a lot of shit done, and yeah, no complaints. I'm trying to get. I think it was like 50 something, 53 or 4 shows done from bars in the past year or whatever. Well, since March, I guess, and March of 2020, right? So, and nobody got sick at any of the shows, so that's another thing too. So, at first it was mass all the time, but once the mass restrictions got lifted, still, it was pretty packed at a couple of shows, but for the most part, people kind of kept their space and stuff. But yeah, it's been a good time, man. So normally we get into some like strange news and stuff like that. After that, so my cousin's not here, which is not really surprising at this point because Massachusetts and traffic, how that goes. Um, but yeah, so I got this weird one that was like, it's a Florida related story, so those are always good. Um, so residents and beach bums in Palm Coast, Florida, got a real surprise on the 24th of July. An actual real life UFO washed ashore from beyond the waves. In this case, though, we're talking about an unknown floating object instead of a flying one. It was a strange hamster wheel like vehicle held afloat by red buoys. And then there was its occupant, or should we say crew member. Um, the whole thing was the latest stunt from a Floridian extreme athlete, Ray Bellucci. He was 49 years old. He'd been attempting an unbelievable task of walking from Florida to New York across the Atlantic Ocean. Well, he left from St. Augustine on July 23rd, but less than a day later ran into some issues, and it brought him back to shore. So I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share this screen over here if I can. Actually, yeah, and it's like this hamster wheel, right? He was walking inside of this fucking thing. This is why people are so fucking weird. All right, can we see it on there? Hold on.
That's absurd.
So here it is, right?
Wow.
This is it's expensive vessel. 1,000 miles is what he was gonna go, and he was just gonna walk the whole time. If you stand up, it just stays there. Apparently, it floats, but still. Um,
That's pretty crazy.
But how can you walk the whole time for 1,000 miles? Because
I
you
have
have to
no idea. I have no idea. I mean, you can stop, it just like, if you can see it, I wish I could zoom in. Maybe I can zoom in on here. It's almost like if you ever been to the fair carnival and they have you walk around inside that fucking thing in the weird house or whatever. It's like literally like a cage inside there with buoys around it. So it was just spinning and he was just walking inside of it and it was wet all in there. Like who wants to do that? Like, and like there's got to be a better way to do this, like the right way. I mean, he's got all these buoys jammed in here. This is what drives me nuts. Is about he's got the Coast Guard involved. I mean, that's tons of taxpayer money, just for him. And he was trying to raise money for homeless people. That's the fucked up part. Instead, he
I
had
mean, good for him, but there's got to be an easier way.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be an easier way than walking this thing. Imagine like getting caught in a current and you have no control really. Like where like you're just walking.
I know a few people like trying to come from Cuba that would really enjoy that kind of thing. Though they just walk, you could start walking over from Cuba.
How do you know where you're going? You end up in fucking South America. You're like, whoa, this is
probably work out pretty good. It's
yeah. So
that's a wild thing though. Like, how does did he make it or did like what? Yeah. You said it washed up.
He made it. Yeah, he made it. It was like homemade.
No, but I'm saying like he made it from wherever he was going to where he was going, right? Like
but he didn't make it very far. He went from like one part of Florida that was down further up to St. Augustine. He made it like 20 something.
So he made it like 40 miles.
Yeah. And he was back on shore because he was probably seeing that it's going to be a lot harder than you fucking think to just walk. You can't just walk on water. There's wind, there's waves, there's current.
And I mean, it seems like if you gave it like any small amount of thought, like your brain is screaming it. Like my brain goes like this is a ridiculous, terrible idea. Yeah. But some people just don't have that part of their brain.
Right, like, they just go for it.
A lot of people just do not, especially they all live in Florida. But like there's a lot of people that don't have that. Like, hey, maybe this is the worst idea that you've ever had.
Yeah, no one around him to say that. Like he just lives solo. He's like, I'm gonna do this. This is great idea. So, how about some of the 8 of the weirdest ice cream flavors? If you can believe, they have mac and cheese ice cream, which is crazy. They have an olive oil ice cream.
Olive oil ice cream, I could tell you, could probably be good. Like the flavors of olive oil is a fat anyway, so that lends itself to. I used to make ice cream for a living, so this is right down my fucking.
So extra virgin though, it's like has its own taste, but like I can't tell from reading this if they're like adding in sugars or any other flavorings, or if it's just the olive oil flavored ice cream, which I don't know if that would be good. I don't know.
But I also, as a cook, I could see how it could work.
I feel like who does stuff like that is Action Bronson. I think he made something along those lines.
Yeah. Fuck, that's delicious.
Yeah, shout out to Bronson. That guy's a fucking genius, man.
Yes.
I love what he's doing, and this guy's lost 200 pounds or some shit since he's been fucking in the last year. It's been interesting to watch his process. So I love it.
Yeah, he's crazy. With all the fucking shit that he does on Instagram, like with his workouts, it's all different every time.
Is that leftover?
I think. Yeah, leftover pizza flavored ice cream, which Lolly Creamery has a program where they create a unique ice cream flavor and release it limited 2-week batch. So this was one of those that they made. Okay, avocado cayenne. Yeah.
Also, think it could be good. Avocado is mostly fat. I like cayenne pepper. I like that heat. I think if you do it right, you make it like not sweet, but just like a tiny, tiny bit sweet. I feel like that could be the
strawberry habanero seems like the most doable one so far.
I mean, to me, these are all ingredients for like dishes. Like
Thanksgiving dinner.
That's just strange. I feel like that is I feel like there's a place in Massachusetts. Christina's in Inman Square. They make some of these weird flavored ice creams.
Oh man!
In Cambridge and Inman Square, I think they might have had a Thanksgiving dinner one, and I think they had a clam chowder or some sort of something ice cream. That shit does not appeal to me. But in the realm of like, what do you call it? Just like wacky fucking.
Well, yeah, no, I can see if someone's having chowder, how that ice cream version of that could be very similar, But Thanksgiving dinner, you're throwing African vanilla ice cream with pasteurized egg yolk, superfine sugar, Heine Hurton hot sauce, and Campbell's tomato juice. Then they top it with tomatoes, potatoes, and green beans. It's like, You know, it seems like someone they got like a broken jaw and they're trying to enjoy their Thanksgiving dinner. Like, this is how we're gonna do it for you.
Yeah, you gotta feed
Creole
the collector.
Creole tomato. I don't know. Tomatoes are like can be sweet and can be good. So like this one's actually not too bad either. I guess I don't really like tomatoes in the raw form, but like I'll eat them sometimes. I guess.
Oh, I love the audience chat right now. We got some cool guys in the audience.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow, yeah.
Where are the mods at? Some cool stuff.
We'll just put them on timer.
Shout out to that guy who's got nothing better to do. I appreciate him.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later. Yeah. So
cicada ice cream is definitely. Oh wow! There we go. We got some super cool guys.
This is true. I mean, hey,
okay.
Wow. It's the world we live in, so I actually appreciate it.
Gotta hit that band. Some wild shit. Yo, so cicadas. I think this is the summer with cicadas. So cicada ice cream.
Flavored ice cream.
That sounds. You know, there's mad cultures around the world that eat cicadas and things like that.
Yeah.
It's because it's all crunchy. It's crunchy and it's protein and whatever. I can see it. It's definitely not my thing. I'm not a bug eater.
I know. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It is kind of the future of food, though. Like grasshoppers as like flour and like all this other shit. Like high protein, whatever. But I just can't really get with it. Cold sweat. Okay,
trash. That's
like salt flavored ice cream.
Yeah, like come on, like what?
Okay, that gets me into this whole other lane of. Have you ever heard that? You know how the body has cultures in it, right? I'm gonna bring up some other shit because I did hear about a woman who cultured cheese with the enzymes from her vagina. That was a. I knew he was gonna say it, but yeah, that's and apparently like people ate it because that was like a whole thing. Because that was like hipsters love that shit.
The
that's
placenta.
Like, oh yeah, you got to eat the placenta. You got to eat the baby too, though. If you're gonna eat the placenta, just eat the rest of the baby.
Placenta ice cream.
Okay, you got some spare placenta lying around?
Yes, we just have a little bit extra here.
Yeah. Side of placenta, please.
So I'm trying to stall right now because I think my cousin's going to jump in soon. I know he must have something for strange news. So I had actually, I have to share it again. I had the Spotify pulled up here, and I wanted to play a song just to kind of kill a little bit of time here. So if you had to pick a song off what's on your Spotify right now, you want to start off with, what would that be?
If you're gonna play a song off the Spotify, let's see. Let's go off. What's it called? Relative in Motion is a good one. Oh no, start with Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens is a dope track.
Okay, let me see. Actually, I want to make sure I share the audio too. All right. So, Ancient Aliens. You want to set the song up anyhow? Like how you came about the idea, like when it was recorded, blah, blah, blah. Any info on it?
So, Ancient Aliens is kind of a song that we were working on this like concept mixtape type thing. And I really just dug the idea of making a song that has this like, really dope message about like extraterrestrial shit and kind of like, you know how Jizza talks about like extraterrestrial things, UFOs, and So I just started like, hey, let's just make something like that, and it kind of came together as this like Wu-Tang sounding track with this like dope underground beat. So I love that track. So I want people to hear it. Doesn't get it.
Right. So Ancient Aliens. Let's give it a listen right now.
Yeah.
Collapsed, I diaphragm movement, diagram blueprints, pyromaniac, inside the fireman's new whip, drink a lot, foolishness, Greek god, Euclid, whiplash, two whips, Iron Man, two shit, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, phonetic rhyme, timelessness, two MCs, two mics, powerful alliances, align like constellations, no shit, constipation, right, combination, focus, concentration, population, beehive, pollination, three eyes, three minds, worldwide domination. Dodging missiles from the opposition. Composition, abnormal rhythms like a heart condition. God's breath in hell. Exhale ancient glaciers. Earthquakes amplified. Raising skyscrapers. Human beings, new fears. Nuclear dangers. Bruce Lee, Wu-Tang, 36 chambers. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers. We flip the axis like gyroscopes. No Tony Stark, but you know I keep the iron close. Dial tone, divide unkind minds with time alone. A beast that uses child's bones to make xylophones. Make your whole existence irrelevant. Colder than negative Kelvin. Molecular genesis, germ warfare. All corpse infected premises. Global pestilence leading humanity's exodus. We board the ships as stages come fully equipped with Egyptian glyphs and paintings. The abyss we face it, the sickness escaping. Freed from corporeal form, reborn to shapeshift. Sublimation, solid to liquid gaseous form. The infinite pressure, the precious flesh is torn, collected and rebuilt in my own image. The last hope, anomalies exposed in rogue systems. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers. Break the egg membrane. Consume the nucleus, use the nutrients to beat and batter the pugilists. The mighty roar from the lungs of the eulogists. Iron fist clenched and bruising them. Combination punches as usual, then a beautiful funeral. Meditation, premeditation, the pupils confusing them. If the algorithm calculates the movements of the indisputable, how can you escape the crucial blow? Share prayer rugs with Bible wielding infidels. Simple simpletons bathed in nitroglycerin. Pagans raging and whispering to the blade decapitates the head like a guillotine. Praying chant to the spirit of Ibrahim with sweaty palms from late palms, evil supreme. The footprints of the inferior trace back to superiors with that nefarious interior. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers. Circadian rhythms flow forth from Nile rivers. Two minds aligned to give your spine shivers. The loss of feel the full force of fly spitters. More cause the fist to be formed from 5 fingers.
Fucking ancient aliens.
Nope.
Shit.
What up, cousin? So what?
Yo,
What do you think of that?
yo, you got more of that shit?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, loving it.
Cool.
It's funny. I was thinking of cunning linguists earlier today,
Hell
and
yeah.
their will rap for food. So that was like the first thing I thought of when you guys were trading bar for bar in that first verse.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, bro.
We do a
I'm
lot of
digging
that.
that.
Like, that's a big part of what we do. Is
Absolutely.
that
That's awesome.
back and forth flow. Like I came up with MCs doing that. Like some of my favorite, like Red and Math.
MOP.
Yeah, MOP.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking a Black Star, just shit like that. That's like
Yeah.
the way that they craft their bars is fucking just superior, man. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely upper echelon MC, and you know.
Yeah. That was fire.
So did you have any strange news this week or what?
Oh well, shit. Yeah. Throw me right in the spot.
Well, yeah, because we just finished. Right, I saw you saying you were going to be on, and I had just wrapped up, so I was waiting for you. So
Yep. No, I got a couple things here. Not really super weird, but since you got the Ancient Aliens track, there was something I found about some alien shit. So this guy over in the UK, his name is Nick Pope. He's investigated UFOs for the Ministry of Defense over in the UK for some time. And he was quoted as saying, let me find his direct quote. He was saying, I'll just sum it up and I'll find the quote later. But he said that if aliens were to ever visit Earth and they wanted to, take over, let's say, he said the weapons that they would have would be like magic to us because they would be so far, advanced from what we have and what we can understand. And he said that these weapons could crack the Earth open like a nut.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even difficult to believe, considering that what we have now looks like magic to someone who lived 50 to 100 years ago. Like,
right,
cell phone is essentially magic to a person from like 75 years ago.
right.
Remember, the aliens could destroy the Earth.
Well, this is all right. This is the direct quote. He said, "Just to put this in context, the universe is nearly 14 billion years old, and there might be civilizations out there 1 billion or 2 years ahead of us."
Yeah.
And he said, if you think about the difference in technology, think how far we've come in the past 300 years. Basically, from horse and cart to ships sailing across the ocean using the wind to having stealth fighters, space probes, and smartphones in that period of time. And if these hypothetical alien civilizations, and he said the chances of them there just being one other civilization in the universe is, microscopic, because it's going to be multiple civilizations. And he said the chances that we will encounter a civilization and it will be 20, 30 years ahead of us is just asinine. Like,
Of course.
they're going to be so far ahead of us, it's going to look like magic. Their technology is going to be magic to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Just like an ancient civilization here would have seen people come here, it'd be the same thing.
Exactly.
They could have been like, "This is wild," and they're gods. They're gods. That's how you explain it.
Essentially. Yeah, essentially.
I mean, didn't the conquistadors show up and basically do that to the Aztecs?
Yep.
Like that was the deal.
Yeah.
They showed up and they were like, "Yo, check it out, we got horses." And the Aztecs were like, "The motherfucker, what the fuck is this shit?"
Right.
They'd never seen a person on a horse. I don't think they'd ever seen a horse, let alone a person riding and commanding a horse in a full suit of armor with a fucking gun.
Yeah, he's like, "Look at this, bang!" And they're like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that was wild."
Just like Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Here's some food. Yeah, same as Christopher Columbus, and same as yeah, man. We did the same thing with fucking the Pilgrims, man. Just gave them a little bit of time so we could learn their shit and be like, all right, we can survive here. Let's get rid of them now. Yeah, that's how the whole thing has always ever gone, dude.
Yep.
Fucking, and I don't think if we were being visited by aliens, they're probably going to do the same thing eventually.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they want our resources, all they got to do is take the planet. That's all they got to do.
they've probably seen a million planets. They don't need our fucking resources.
Yeah.
Well,
Considering
you never
I
know.
feel like we don't even need it, you know?
You never know, though.
if they can get here, like that would be the thing. It's like, what's their point? Like, what do they even want? Because if they can get here, they can get anywhere. Because they're not in our solar system.
I
If
don't know.
they can-
Considering this planet's made out of fucking diamonds, planet's made out of just wind, planet's made out of all water. There's so many fucking different planets that is.
Yeah. They could
Yeah,
definitely get it done.
It depends on what they're looking for,
This is true.
What else you got? You got anything else?
Yeah. So, me being a teacher, this one kind of spoke to me. You guys have heard of the school to prison pipeline, right?
Yeah.
So recently, I think it was Tuesday or something, earlier this week, there was a study done, and BU was actually a part of it, and a couple other pretty big colleges, Colorado State, University of Colorado, Harvard, Boston University. They said that children who attend schools with high suspension rates are significantly more likely to be arrested and jailed as adults, especially black and Hispanic boys, according to a new research that shines a spotlight on the school to prison pipeline. And data has, shown that black and Hispanic students experience suspension and expulsion at much higher rates than white students. And that as adults, they are also disproportionately represented in the country's prison system. And while research shows a correlation between high levels of education and low levels of criminal activity, there exists little evidence on the role that individual schools can play in their students' future. So researchers from BU, University of Colorado Boulder, and Harvard sought to find whether this was a causal link between students who experience strict school discipline and being arrested or incarcerated as an adult. And they said our findings show that early censure of school misbehavior, so, those kids that are, for whatever reason, quote unquote, acting up or misbehaving, causes increases in adult crime, and that there is, in fact, a school to prison pipeline. Any effort to maintain safe and orderly school climates must take into account the clear and negative consequences of exclusionary discipline practices for young students, and especially students of color, which lasts well into adulthood. So, with all that being said, this isn't something that is a surprise. We've kind of already figured this out, but this is the first concrete study that has been done that shows that is true.
Well, yeah, shout out to that study because
Yeah, right?
I personally have known that my entire life. So.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's not anything new,
Right.
but this is a direct, it's not like correlation anymore. There's no correlation, there's actual data showing this.
Proof.
Yeah, there's proof, there's data,
Yeah.
there's information, there's numbers that can back all this shit up.
Yeah. Schools are prisons.
We're kind of past the point of proof though, because like people just make up their minds about this stuff. So you can give them a study with proof in it, but if they don't want to believe, that's kind of, we're in this post-proof, post-fact society where we go like, here's this study that says all these things. We say it about climate change. We say it about everything. But if it doesn't already fit someone's personal narrative, they're just going to choose to ignore it anyway.
That's the truth.
It's like, I don't think that like we should strive for less proof, but I also think that there's this level of like how much, like if everyone already knows it and then we're like, here's the proof, and then someone's just like, well, whatever, I still don't believe it. You're like, okay, does your opinion matter anymore? Versus like, because we have, you know what it is, like, you know that they have in certain schools, in a lot of white upper middle class areas, they don't have a cop in the school.
Right.
But if you go to the fucking inner cities and shit like that, you have, you got cops in the school. And what do you think? You don't think that the upper middle class white schools, they have a bunch of counselors in there to help the kids out if they're getting in a tough situation? Or if you're, an inner city kid who's just like dealing with a bunch of shit, and then you're channeling that through acting out in school, and then they have like a police officer come and take you away and put you in the system. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Right. Yeah, they actually said that in the article here. They said the new findings released Tuesday did not address the issue of school resource officers.
Which is a huge issue. We had one at Kennebunk when I was in school, which, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, like the low-income schools, but Kennebunk was not a low, like they had a police officer in the school, and it was predominantly white, suburban, rich, I mean, George Bush's family fucking owns property in Kennebunk, right? And the school had a police officer, and I was 18 years old as a senior and got fucking caught with weed at school, had a record. I was still in school, had a record. So, like, it can happen to a lot of people, and that whole school research, the police officers in school is it's the wrong thing to have, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, really, it just sets people up for shit. Like, you're asking for shit. All these teenagers get together, and, they're not thinking right. They have a teenage mind, whatever, and then you're giving them a record early on. They haven't even had a chance to get out of school yet, which is crazy. So that's a whole issue in itself. And I really am against that. Like I said, the school shouldn't feel like a prison or whatever. Granted, there are times when police are needed at school, but I mean, they're a phone call away, right? So if you need them, you call them up. That's what you're supposed to do. You shouldn't just be lurking at school and peering through people's car windows and shit like that. Like, that's just like going over the top, So that's a whole nother thing. Police in the schools is ridiculous.
Right. Well, I got a couple more things.
Yeah.
So I saw this earlier today that the United States is suffering from an ammunition shortage.
Good.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because gun sales have hit an all-time high. Let me get you some more information.
Oh, that's
Guns-
the Joe Biden effect, though.
Yeah.
It's that same thing with whenever there's a mass shooting, whenever they start buying all the guns. I don't want to cut you off, but I think that's kind of the deal. Everyone's scared of, Joe Biden.
So
Guns.
the whole COVID situation has accelerated guns because, well, our country we love guns, and there's a shooting on the news every fucking night, so people are understandably nervous and scared. And some of those people are taking it to the point where they're buying new guns, and if they're buying a gun, they're going to need ammunition with it. Um, Manufacturers are saying that they're producing as much ammunition as they can, but many gun store shelves are empty and prices keep rising. Um, let me give you a number. It was in the millions of new. Right here. More than 50 million people participate in shooting sports in the United States, and estimates that 20 million guns were sold last year, with 8 million of those sales by first-time buyers.
Jesus.
So the thing that gets me is, in order to purchase a gun, you have to do a background check. Now, the background checks are not very comprehensive. You can have one background check and buy multiple guns on that one background check. However, you don't need a background check to buy ammunition.
Yeah. No, you can buy ammunition over the counter.
Yeah, and you can have, I mean, I forget which show it was, but there was I think a 14-year-old kid went to a gun show and bought a gun legally. Bought a gun. Now, not having, a background check needed for ammunition, this kid could walk into Walmart and buy up ammunition for that gun, and then do whatever it is that he plans on doing next, and nobody would be the wiser.
Yeah.
It's
a wild situation. I don't dislike guns. I actually do like guns. I think more people should be armed, but I also think that there's a ridiculous thing in this country where we act like there's no problem with guns. Like, we have a huge gun problem, but I think there needs to be like a bunch of different shit going on. But I honestly think that generally speaking, it's not as much of a problem with the guns as it is this giant untracked mental health problem that we don't have healthcare. So if you have millions and millions of people without healthcare, or their healthcare costs them out the ass, and they can't go see a shrink and get the fucking mental health situation they need, depressed. I mean, the fact is, yes, a depressed 14-year-old shouldn't be able to walk in and get a fucking gun. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I remember how I was at 14, and like the access to firearms would not have been a good idea. Like, legitimately, I'm still a fucked up guy, but I'm not trying to lash out at the world like that. Or if I do, I'm trying to put it in my music, not fucking go shoot up a school.
I also think COVID was a big reason for people going crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even me, I'm like, yo, I got to build a compound. Like, fucking compound. I can go underground. What do you need for that? Guns and ammunition.
Yep.
People are stocking up on ammunition for guns they don't even have yet.
Yo, shout out to all the doomsday preppers, though. Y'all the real MVPs. It'll happen. It'll happen sometime. You might not live to see it, but it'll happen. Yeah, what the fuck? I was gonna say something, but I can't fucking remember.
So yeah, let's talk about your first project your early project you guys release. What kind of influenced you with those projects, and what genres, if any, do you listen to besides hip hop?
Well, I think one of the first projects that come to my mind is Hunger Pains, which is a great project. It's available on everything. That project's all about food and just that lifestyle of enjoying life behind food and the progress that food means to a lot of people, which the title tracks goes into a list of like from the bottom to the top, like from the rice and beans and for dinner to like eating that fine, marinated salmon.
Yeah.
So
like me and Stress both worked in restaurants for a really long time, and we still work with food, but just not in a restaurant anymore. And the album is kind of born. It's like a storytelling. It starts with the struggle, You know, so Beans and Rice is the first one. Kitchen is like, you know, me and Stress both have a verse about just working in the kitchen and like how all the bullshit that you have to deal with. Like that whole project is kind of a continuous, like, you know, story that you're going to get from the
Yeah.
first track to the last. We're actually re-releasing it in a couple of weeks. And it's going to have 2 bonus tracks that are actually going to add onto the add to that story. So like it's kind of interesting that you bring that up. We're adding a track called Michelin Star because it's something like I've always been obsessed with, like the finest of the fine restaurants and like how you get a Michelin star. And then also we're gonna add a track called Dessert, which is gonna be like the little aperitif at the end of the project. A little extra flavor, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit of espresso, a little bit of ice cream. Yeah, man.
I mean, yeah.
Nice. So how about genres? You guys listen to anything but other than hip hop or what?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're both naturally just we love music, good music. You know, there's good music and there's bad music.
Yeah.
And, you know, the mind of a musician understands the complexities it takes to create certain music, whether it's a country song that's good or rock and roll that's good, or that natural classic hip hop that we do that's good.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say is like I don't know if you have any like the guests on your show. Do you have any of them that go, no, I only listen to hip hop? Because
I have had
occasionally.
I've had like 1 or 2 people that were like, I just basically only listen to hip hop. Yeah. And a lot of the responses are I listen to a lot of music except country. That's been a pretty big response too. But a lot of people are like, yeah, like I would probably say like a third would be like, yeah, hip hop only, and a third would be like no country, and a third would be like I listen to everything. If I had to put numbers to it, like roughly, that's pretty much how it goes through 25 episodes anyway. So yeah, I mean, I thought a lot more people would strictly be hip hop, but it's really different than it was maybe 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of people pulling inspiration from all kinds of fucking music from whatever. It really doesn't matter. I just like to get it out there and just ask the question. I ask everybody when they come on. The same with the process. So for that first project and your early projects and even to projects you're doing now, what's your process for recording? Like, do you have like a home studio? Do you guys have a studio you go to, or you mix it up? What do you do with that?
So yeah, we've been to a lot of different studios in in the Boston area. We started out when we first met. We recorded with our boy Wax. Shout out to Wax.
Yeah.
Sean is like a motherfucking just a beast with it. He loves like comes from LA, makes just a bunch of like beautiful West Coast style beats, but he makes like all kinds of beats. And we started recording with him.
Yeah,
like,
he's dope.
Okay, y'all know Wax. So that's what's up. Yeah, Wax is the fucking guy. I know he did some work with Hero recently.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I know who he is.
Yeah, so we did that. We recorded the bridge. I think all the Hunger Pains was recorded at the Bridge Sound and Stage in Cambridge. Shout out to Lightfoot. He recorded and mixed and mastered that project, and it's like, I mean, I think it shines for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. We worked with Mertz over there, and now we record at Dope Land headquarters, which is shout out to Ish and Shoddy. Like their Ish's production is fucking next level, and we're just working with him. He's working with him on the production aspect. Like we'll have an idea for a track, and I'll just go like, hey, can you make it boom bap? Can you make it like spacey and dark and like kind of like trancey and stuff? And he'll be like, yeah, no problem. Fucking, he's really like, it's helping us creatively just in that process. It's really, really different than anything we've ever worked on before.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to hear that you go to studios or somebody else's place to get it done. I feel like a lot of people are doing it at home these days too, and I think like sometimes that can get tedious and maybe take away from the creativity as to where you're able to go into a studio either with something already written or you sit in there and do the song. You know what I mean? Which I think you guys probably do that often. I'm assuming you guys sit there and probably write music together, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it shows when you make music like that, when you're able to sit there and kind of flow off each other and say, this is next, and put whole songs together, rather pose and do it. Through COVID, a lot of people are like, hey, record at home, send a verse or whatever. And that's cool. But nothing really beats like getting into the studio, like sitting there and listening to the beat for like an hour and like writing your shit down. Like it really does create a whole different vibe than you'd get from just, recording at home and shit. So shout out to studios.
One thing I'll say too is like I can make a beat, but I'm not a producer, and I can record myself, but I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
So like, I want the best possible product. I need to go to someone who has that skill set. Like,
Yeah.
there are absolutely people out there that are, you know, yeah, you can record yourself, but if you're just like, hey, I click record, your verse is going to sound like trash versus someone who's EQ'd you properly.
Right.
And, you know, they have, you know, people who live and make their living doing that have a skill set that I don't have.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I'm
that's
much
all they
more.
do. Like they're engineer. They don't, that's what they do. Their whole fucking life is that, and that is really great to have, especially if you can find a place that you work well at and stuff like that, and just be able to vibe, create music is sick. I always love studio setting, but the setting's got to be right too. You can't have studio is not for partying, and sometimes people get that in their fucking head, and they think the studio is just meant for partying, and that kills the vibe for me anyway. Like I like to be in there to create the music and get it done, and not just be in there to do nothing. I've definitely had both ends of the spectrum with artists, working with artists who just want to come in, and next thing you know, 3 hours has gone by and all that's happened is there's ashes everywhere and empty beer bottles. That's not fun. Like what the fuck got done? Nothing. I like to be able to get in there and 3 hours goes by and you got 3-4 solid fucking songs, and you're like, all right, and these are already starting to be, you're like on the fly mixing, mastering, and you're leaving with something that's like halfway fucking finished. And you're like, yes. So like being in the studio can be for a lot of artists, I think, distracting, but if you get the right ones together, you can just make classic shit.
Well, people kind of get tied up into this rapper person. Like, I think that's a lot of it is that if you're a rapper and you're going into the studio, you want to have that, like, I'm a rapper, look at me, I'm in the studio looking. But I think for like a lot of the people that we're working with more recently, it's the fact is that if you're a rapper or whatever, if you're a musician and you're going to the studio, this is work,
Mm-hmm.
It's time to work. You don't show up to work with a bottle and fucking flash all your shit up.
Yeah,
it's fucking time.
All over the fucking mixing board and shit.
Yeah.
Leaning on people, fucking breathing on them and shit, trying to fucking be all like weird because you're half drunk when you got there. Yeah, I mean, I've been down those roads before and it's frustrating. But on the other hand of that, when you do get that good artist that comes in with that mindset to fucking do it, like it kind of makes up for it, in a lot of ways. But if someone's like that, you end up not working with them. That's the thing. You're like, all right, well, I'm not gonna fucking go somewhere else with that crazy bullshit.
I would say that's part of why we are continuously working together, because we hold each other to that standard, and we always come through for ourselves, for each other, for the love of the music. So that's what it's all about. We want production, we want quality, and we want consistency and at a reasonable pace. That's what we got.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it is funny though, because if you don't have someone to check you, I've seen a lot of artists, and you don't have a person that's in your corner to be like, yeah, what are you doing? Like that's this is not what this is. This is there's times where stress. I'll be in a take in the studio and I'll be like, was that good? And it's just like, no, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, okay, I thought that was pretty good. And he's just like, nah, man. Like, well, we do. There's nowadays we're getting faster with it, but we used to do a song. Write the song, go perform the song 20 times, and then bring it to the studio. So like everything is like so solidified by the time we get to the studio.
Yeah.
Not like, so I wouldn't have to like. It's only kind of at this point where I'm like, we're writing stuff so fast and recording, day by day. Where like I'm like, shit, I just wrote this and it's time to lay it. Like I don't even have,
Yeah. I feel that. I definitely would. I always like to practice everything before, and try to do it without reading it. You know what I mean, so that it's memorized. But a lot of times, especially now, I'm finding that I've been doing a lot of features for people. Like MoFlo hit me up for a feature, and like Hero, I got a feature with him, and another one coming up. So like they're asking me more, and I'm like, okay, and I'm feeling like I got to get it done right now. And past couple I did one for Lindsay the other day. It's just like I wrote it and was able to like get it down the same day, which had never happened. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. So I just struck that same day and sent it off, and then that happened again today. So for me, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I feel like, this has never happened. So like, I'm so OCD. It's like I gotta practice it and make sure it's right. And for some reason, that always took forever. But for the past like few times, it really was like, wow, this is weird. I know I sent you something, Justin, in your messenger. On the other day or whatever, that shit that I did for Libsy, but
Libsy,
that's what happens with work.
Yeah, I think like part of it is being stuck in this creative zone for so long right now, it's really easy for me to like pick up on something and fucking just do it rather than procrastinate like I was used to doing for like ever. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it, but now I just jump to it and get it done, and next thing you know, it's fucking ready and already sent back. Like MoFlo had sent me the beat at like 12:50 a.m. this morning, and by like 2 o'clock the afternoon, I already sent my shit back. He was like, "Damn, okay." So I was like, "All right," but it's good to be in that mode when you can be creative and be quick with it. But yeah, you got to be comfortable with it. Don't force shit. Don't fucking just put it out there because it's got to come off smooth, you know. All right, so what do we got? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. So we're gonna do smoke break. Smoke them if you got them. We had some weird shit go down in the chat earlier. Those people were blocked out of Restream for life. I don't know what avenue they came from. What the comments were coming from, YouTube or Facebook or whose it was coming from at this point. But luckily on my show, I don't keep the chat. I don't leave the chat up on the screen. So I don't like people to just be able to say whatever they want. I like to screen it before it goes up on the screen. So we're lucky that we had that. But for this break right now, why don't you guys pick another song from the Spotify that we could play? I'll put that over here. Whatever you want to play.
Yo, let's play some stuff off Hunger Pains. Like, do you want to? Let's go with Barbecue. Barbecue is a song that like I really dig. It's like a great summer vibe, and it's just all about like kicking it with your family and your people and having a cookout. So, yeah.
All right. Let's play that.
Yeah. Yeah. Urban on the rocks, light a square with the grill flames. Final lap in Daytona, how we switch lanes. But in the Dutch, maple flavor the bacon. Dime chick on my arm, straight chases the dick. He's been patiently waiting since days of a vagrant in Cambridge to race. Up all the luck, plus embrace all the hatred. So I still keep the doors in my crib barricaded. Twist out some brown sugar, keep the chicken marinated. Dap up my fan with, I'm glad you made it. Grab a brew and some food and get highly activated. Family barbecue like it's graduation. Raise your glass for salutations. Halfway to reaching all my aspirations. Relaxing with my elite dirty street team. Topping burgers with kimchi and beet greens. Animal meat and grease to make the flames leap on the mic and the grill. Phonetix maintain the heat. Chicken sausage with that great coupon. No more cutting coupons. Some my grill game too strong. Who's on ice in that great goose corn? So the party don't stop till 6 in the morning. Chicken sausage with that great coupon. No more cutting coupons. Some my grill game too strong. Who's on ice in that great goose corn? So the party don't stop till 6 in the morning.
Springer with repeater speakers, one for major talent, the best flesh of the prime rib. That can meet the palate, high sarcastic, shadow potato salad devoured. Serenaded with the sour marinated chips and burgers, smoked out your merchant. From Mass City, Carolinas, sedated with the use of grinders, whiskey and vagina, bag of coats in the yard like the miners. Crush it in my palms, till out come shiny diamond metal tongs. For hours I grill Simon racks and rips, smacking lips. The barbecue was in the alignment, master chef out of retirement. Just to feed the lions, smoking clouds, till we get the appetite of giant. Chicken sausage with that great coupon. No more cutting coupons. Some my grill game too strong. Bruised on ice in that great goose corn. So the party don't stop till 6 in the morning. Chicken sausage with that great coupon. No more cutting coupons. Some my grill game too strong. Bruised on ice in that great goose corn. So the party don't stop till 6 in the morning. Yo, what you cooking on the grill?
Yo, I'm cooking up the ribs.
Yo, what you cooking on the mic?
Yeah, I'm cooking up the hits.
Dog, the girl just caught me looking at her tits.
Bro, what the fuck I tell you about doing that shit?
Ladies and Daisy Dukes, mixed drinks is 80 proof.
Making crazy food every day, catching deja vu.
Fall back, call that a glitch in the matrix apply.
Burgers to plates and their plates to faces.
Mad service, I can give taste buds to the tasteless.
Pour liquor on ice, figure eight with the stick. Tips on Brady, your barbecue, the greatest of all time.
First portion like a lion, the pleasure is all mine.
The bees in the cast iron to immaculate design.
No Instagram picture could never capture the shine.
Now the main course is anything we wanna eat, so fuck a Visa card. My backyard is where you wanna be. Sausage with that great coupon. No more cutting coupons. So my grill game too strong. On ice in that great goose corn. So the party don't stop till 6 in the morning. It's out with that great blue card. No more cutting coupons. Some my drill game too strong. Bruce on
Just in case.
so the party don't stop till 6
I could, yeah. On Spotify, I could pause it on my phone, but I'm not gonna.
Stop till 6 in the morning. Till 6 in the morning. Till 6 in the morning.
Yes.
Word. I just started following you guys on Spotify. I'm a fan. Two songs in, I'm a fan.
2 songs in. It was a fan after the first song, really.
Yeah.
But Justin, if you could keep it moving with, we're gonna do like a little top 5 right now, and I'm gonna go outside and smoke because I had to like stop the Spotify, so I came back. I was like, how the fuck? I was just gonna come stop it. So yeah, let's go top 5. You pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke too.
All right. We haven't done albums in a while, so top 5 albums, and you guys can either do it separately or together. It's however you guys want to do it.
Do it separate because I think we're gonna have some pretty different top 5 albums.
All right,
Just
cool.
rap albums or just all albums?
Any album. You guys define. If you want to stick to just hip hop, you can. If you want to open it up and do any album of all time, do that.
I do any album because
all time.
I hate when people do just hip hop because that's like one of those things where I'm like, I also have a top 5 hip hop, but like, you know,
like to me, it's categories. It's like top
well,
5.
yeah, because we do top 5 every week. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show, but we leave it up to the artist to decide the parameters of the top 5. Like, we'll give you the top 5 and you guys define how you want to take it and run with it. So I like opening it up to all albums because I think it gives you a better idea of who you guys are as artists when you can see more of, you know, either the influences or the things that you're into or the things, you know, that you grew up with or whatever. So who's going to start?
I'll start. I might go in my top 5. I don't know if I have the numbers, but I'm going to say Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie is like absolutely one of my
classic. Okay.
Like easily.
Definitely.
Monkey Bars by Sean Price, right up there.
Another good one.
Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous by Big L.
Big L.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Chronic 2001 is definitely up there, and fuck it, I think it's is it Legacy of Blood by Jedi Mind Tricks.
Okay. That's still pretty heavy hip hop, but I like it.
Yeah. I like it.
Well, I mean, okay, so Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath, and Paranoid by Black Sabbath. I don't know. I love me some Black Sabbath. So, well, you know.
I'm going with definitely Monkey Bars.
Hey.
I was going to say that. Illmatic is definitely one of my favorites. I bumped back in the day. I really love Amy Winehouse, so like I just have to say that one.
Yeah.
I don't even know that album name. One with, I mean, I don't even know that album. That's a tough one. Probably a few reggae albums. You know, I'm multi-verse. I'm not really good with the remembering the albums, but yeah. That's the vein I'm going. I'm all over the place, kind of, but you know.
All right, I can dig that. Yeah, so if I pick a top 5 albums, shit, Enter the 36 Chambers is definitely on that top 5. Probably Q-Tip's Amplified is probably on there too.
It's a great album.
Yeah, love J Dilla.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was big into Atmosphere and Rhyme Sayers a while back, so if I had to pick an Atmosphere album, probably God Loves Ugly would be on that top 5. Let's see.
Yes.
What are some other ones? See, it's always hard on the spot, like
Right.
come up with
Yeah,
5
that's why we
fucking
do it.
things.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
Probably the Beatles. There's a couple different ones that I would put on the top 5, but I say Sgt. Pepper's probably on the top 5, and then oh shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper's is probably, if I had to take a Beatles album, probably the one I'd go with. Because it's also like it's got so many goddamn bangers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so different. Like each song is different. Shit, what would be another one, Obese? What would you say my top 5 would be?
Well, all I heard was God Loves Ugly and the Beatles. What were the other ones?
Oh, Q-Tip Amplified.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And Enter the 36 Chambers.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
that's definitely a sleeper. Because I like now I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even go any Wu-Tang album. Which
Well, I mean, there's so many. Like, I can't figure out like.
But if I was gonna take a Wu-Tang album, it would definitely be 36 Chambers.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I also
for
have
sure.
like Liquid Swords is probably like a big contender of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like Beneath the Surface too as a Jizza album on the whole, because like I think Beneath the Surface gets slept on a lot, but it's fucking dope.
Mm.
It's hard to pinpoint since you already listed off a couple that I already would have said. It's hard to say, but we listen to so much obscure shit too, like that was so dope on repeat, like the Beat Nuts and the Method Man Tikal album that stands out to me, the Tikal 2000 or whatever it was. That was a great album too, and just like you had so many like.
Oh, shout out to Blackout. No, Blackout is definitely also in my top 10.
Oh yeah.
Blackout
I mean, I'm thinking the Roots, like Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a tough question.
The Fugees, the Score classic album. I wish we could have had from them.
The Fugees, come on, like
no, Score is definitely
that was such a great album, and the way that they were spitting the socially fucking conscious fucking content back then, you know, was refreshing to hear. But they kept it gangster with the shit, like the beats they were using and shit. You know what I mean? Like it was just the perfect mix when you had Lauryn Hill come on and she could rap better than like they could. It was just dope.
Right?
Yeah.
She can rap and like the singing is crazy.
Yeah, she's probably one of the most versatile artists I think in the past 35, 40 years that we've seen. Oh, you know what my top 5 would be? I'm gonna throw the Benefit album on there.
Oh yeah,
we were big into that Benefit album way back then.
Oh my God, yeah. I have that on Spotify right now.
Yeah, yep.
I've heard it like this month.
Shit, I don't have my show. What's next after top 5?
Favorite unexplained phenomenon of paranormal activity. If they had to, pick one to talk about, the most, easiest to talk about. What do you think it would be? Is it Bigfoot, aliens, fucking? I don't know.
Easily for me, aliens. If that's the question. Yeah. Definitely aliens. I can't remember any actual sightings, but I used to really pay attention to just whatever's happening in space.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a simple fact that we live in an Earth that's looking around in the universe. All that to me is really mind blowing, and it's obviously it's a thing that people don't think about every day. The preciousness of life, the fact that we are just minuscule to the Earth itself. So aliens attract me. So I any UFO sightings, I'm like, oh shit, about to go down.
So you must be like me, digging this summer where the UFO report came out. There seems to be sightings every fucking day now. It's fucking hard to keep up with so many things going on.
Absolutely. I went to New Mexico recently and I was all about it, but we didn't end up going down there. But Oh man. Also, the stars on the West Coast, something beautiful. We're all on the East Coast, but like
Yeah.
the stars out there are just something else. And it like feels like you're connected to the fucking whatever else going on.
So like
Yeah.
aliens, I did like a whole like fucking thesis on ancient alien theory, like in college in fucking 2014 or 15, right? That was like the whole thing because I went on this huge binge, doing ancient aliens and then reading all the books they mentioned. Um, going to the library at the school and then getting all these books and like reading through them and then like writing up this huge fucking paper. And I did a bunch of like YouTube presentation type videos for my online class. It was all ancient aliens based. So like, yeah, I definitely could talk about it for a while. But one of the big things that I'm, more recently been trying to figure out is the whole Bigfoot thing. And I bring it up pretty much with everybody that comes on is this theory where Bigfoot and other unexplainable things are like part of a different dimension or some shit like that, where like momentarily they're able to pass in our dimension or whatever, and they pass in and out or some shit like that to explain not only Bigfoot but a lot of different things, right? So like it's just this weird ass theory where like it's a multiverse, I guess, right? Just in the multiverse theory, some shit, yeah.
Yeah, where like these creatures or these unexplained things are phasing in and out, and you can't really pinpoint.
Yeah,
There's no evidence of it. People have these
right.
experiences, but
Yeah, only
yeah,
some people or whatever, and just like try to explain it the most like scientific way, whereas to not say like how come we haven't found any remains that are conclusive, blah 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 blah. And it's like people are investing a lot of money to find this too. You see these shows. There's a couple. I think Expedition Bigfoot is one of the newer ones. This guy's got like $3-4 million invested in equipment and fucking time and permits and like going through all these places, and he hasn't found shit like a physical evidence. So to me, it's like how much money you got to this. We're talking about, in the United States, you can't find one of these things alive and bring it back, even or dead. And to me, it's just crazy. Like, so how do you explain it? So many people claim to have seen it, heard knocking, seen orbs when they've seen these things. So like, I just say multiverse, and then it could explain aliens or UFOs or what are they called now?
UAPs.
UAPs, yeah. Maybe the multiverse can explain that. Maybe it's just layers to this universe, and we're only able to see and hear certain vibrations and shit. Maybe the shit going on around us we can't even see, and it's like some wild shit, lizard people and whatever else. Who knows? It's just weird ass shit, but it could explain a lot of things, I guess, if you could buy into that theory, multiverse or whatever.
It's like Marty McFly going 88 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Time he can time travel, right? So maybe see a Bigfoot is if your body's going through like these precise measurements of some sort.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right in tune, and the vibrations are perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
we had somebody on last week? Treelock was mentioning this magnetic force situation with this one guy that was building like
Yeah.
the fucking
The Coral Castle down in Florida, right? The
yeah
Coral Castle.
yeah.
Yeah, he was moving those big blocks and building this thing, and they didn't know how. It was probably some sort of levitation or some kind of anti-gravity thing, but probably using some sort of sound is what I think we were getting at, right? Some sort of sound, kind of levitation or whatever. But he never really revealed his secrets, and that Coral Castle's still down there. I'm pretty sure if you look it up on Google.
And I wonder if people that have these experiences with Bigfoot or aliens or ghosts or whatever are more like naturally in tune to that kind of shit. The shit you can't see
Yeah.
or explain, but magnetic forces exist. So maybe if they're in tune with that shit, they're more susceptible to experiencing these things.
Hmm.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
That or they're just really, really into telling themselves that they're, if you prime yourself for that experience, I'm going to go into the forest, I'm going to see Bigfoot. Trying to see that everything that's blurry behind a tree is Bigfoot.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Every stump behind him, if you're like, oh, there's one right there. Fucking yeah, it definitely can help if you're a person who's able to kind of approach things with absolutely no opinion either way. You know, you're just out there. Maybe you're just looking at fucking acorns. You're looking for chaga. You know what I mean? You have no idea or even belief in this shit. Those are the people that I believe. You know what I mean? But a lot of people can tell a good story, and a lot of shit's convoluted, especially with YouTube and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of things on there, and I'm like, all right, yeah. But there have been a few that have been like, wow, that's, you know, that could be, really could be, you know, in my opinion, maybe, just maybe. But yeah, like I said, without any physical evidence of it, I still really can't buy into it. But I'm the type that I try to scientifically explain it if I can. But yeah, I've had plenty of weird experiences with I don't know, just weird shit through my whole fucking life. Coincidences and weird shit that went down. Like when a grandmother of mine had passed away, literally like a week later, a lady who looked just like her and wore her glasses the same way, drove a fucking Volvo like she did, everything, showed up at my mother's house. Well, my mother had a little craft shop in the front of our house, and she had a sign out front. And these people were tourists. They said we lived in Maine. They said they were from Massachusetts. She stopped in. My mother immediately grabbed a picture of my grandmother, like to show her, like, sure, she just passed away. This is her name. She was Nell, da da da. She like looked just like you. Had the same kind of reading glasses. There's the thing you put on your glasses that keeps it on your neck. You know, she wore that. She had short hair. Wore the same LL Bean fucking shirts that she would wear. It was crazy, bro. And I was like 15 when it happened, and yeah, I saw her get out of the car, and I went and told my mother. I said, I can't believe what's happening, but it's like this lady looks just like Nell. She's literally coming in right now. So my mother got the picture. She's showing it to her, right? And she's like, oh, I would love to sit down and have coffee with you. You guys here for a while? And she's like, yeah, we're here for a couple of days. It was like the weekend. And she's like, yeah, we'll have coffee with you. She gave her number to my mom, and my mother wrote it down. She's like, well, what's your name? And she's like, my name is Angel, bro. I shit you not. I was like, what the fuck? So like that to me was crazy. And the craziest part too is the lady never called her over those 2 days, and when my mother called that number, it was disconnected.
Did you ever? Okay, this is a thought. Did you ever entertain the notion that maybe this lady killed your grandmother and it was to steal her identity?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe she
and like
did.
just like fuck with you on like this primordial basis, like 'cause that is like. I
No,
mean,
but
I don't know what the circumstances behind your grandmother's passing was, but at the same time, like that seems like some weirdo shit where she puts on like the Walmart version of your grandmother's clothes and then shows up at your mom's house. Like, you ever seen those horror movies where it's like, it's that shit, the girl, the fucking the orphan, right? Where she's like turns out she's a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
yeah. No, she was actually it was cancer. She was in the hospital. My father went down and he wouldn't let me, so I wouldn't know if that was really the case or not. But that's what I was told anyway. So you know, so to have a stolen, I mean, if she did want to, she would have been the perfect person to do it because like it was a doppelganger for real. I was like, what the hell, you know? So
Your grandmother's social security number has been used recently.
right. um, so yeah, I mean that happened, which was weird to me. And then a couple times I thought I saw what made it being a UFO here and there, but nothing really too crazy stand out in my fucking life. Really, just the stories from others that I've heard and whatever. And I'm always trying to. I don't ever just believe whatever the first thing is I hear. I love to fucking just research shit and find out for myself and shit. So, anyways, yeah. Cam Sims over here doing his thing. What up? So let's see. What are we doing next? I'm gonna see. Talk about. All right. So we talked about you guys' favorite paranormal shit, right?
Hold
So
on,
what
I
about?
want to drop my favorite paranormal shit
Yeah.
because it's people messing with forces they can't possibly hope to understand. It's like when people do some like, oh, I'm gonna fucking go to this haunted place or I'm gonna do a seance or some shit thinking
yeah.
everything's gonna be good because I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I'll entertain the possibility that they exist and I will not fuck with them by any stretch of the imagination. Because you hear all this stuff, they make the Conjuring movies and stuff, and they're like, oh, based on a true story. But those are very exaggerated, but they're like ridiculously, those things do happen. There are documented cases of quote unquote demonic possession or whatever. Do not fuck with that shit. Like, do not. All, You don't know what
Multiverse.
you're doing. You're not some sort of, there are people, it's the same way that there's engineers, people who deal with this entire shit their whole life. That's their job, is to go and, and they know the way to deal with the shit. Don't fuck with it. Do
Yeah.
not. No
Yeah, for
voodoo
real. And
bullshit. Ouija
that shit
board.
too.
Fuck that.
I feel like that all gets right in there to that multiverse thing. Like, there's universes that we don't know about where there's like, demons or whatever, right? That's how it, because I'm not religious. I don't fucking go out here and do any kind of like that kind of thing. It's just like, I believe in energies and shit like that exists and whatever. So for me, it's like, I try to explain it without getting too religious about it. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like demons, whatever. It's just like a race of humanoids, we'll call them demons. They're all weird. They got fucking dragon tails or whatever the fuck, right? Horns, cool. They're weird, but they exist in this one universe, right? Sometimes they do this and they can cross into ours, and they're always trying to constantly get out of theirs and bring people to their shitty ass universe. And Bigfoot's be the same way, and even aliens maybe, if people are having contact with them, people say they have contact. I just really love this multiverse thing, and I think I'm gonna just continuously push the multiverse thing. Forever and ever. But yeah,
It's a pretty well recognized like scientific theory, though. It's like that
yeah,
there's an infinite amount of universe. It's not as much of a conspiracy theory as like something like Bigfoot. I think it's a Stephen Hawking thing, which is that they're like, if our universe exists, there must be any million, infinite amount of other universes where every other thing happened. Like,
yeah. So what's some of you guys' favorite non-musical hobbies? Like, you into sports, art, painting, any kind of like shit that you like to do besides music? Like when you're trying to just disconnect from the music.
Video games, definitely.
Yep.
Fucking exercise, all that healthy shit. I actually love it.
Yep.
Video games isn't. I don't know. I guess it's debatable if video games is healthy or not.
Well, it's good for like hand-eye
It's a good,
coordination, and it develops your brain a lot. They say.
yeah, it's a good escape.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But when I zone in on 2K, it could be a few hours before I get off that. But no, it is a good escape. Moderately, everything in moderation, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely that writing, which is, I mean, like the music is what we do, but it's also my escape. So,
yeah,
I think that's kind of what keeps our sword sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of movies. Like I do really love movies, like from modern movies, classic movies, but that stuff. And then like there are certain things, like I love science fiction. So if there's like a good book, I'll read it, but I don't read that much, but like there's aesthetics that I'm really into, like science, like dystopia, dystopian futures, weird alternate history.
Yeah.
That gets me. And that's like, I like to translate that. Like I have this big, not fear, but anxiety about the future because everything looks like it's going to shit so like very quickly. And I just like to put that in the music. Like, just like seeing like the way that everything's going. And we have a few tracks coming out along those lines. I have a song called Streets of Rage that's going to be coming out featuring Shoddy. And that's like, my verse, it kind of tells the story from the current day to the like near future to the kind of further out cyberpunk style future, which is my verse. And like, that's something that I like to do, is like, if I get myself in the headspace and I'm just like, I really want to write this shit right now because I love consuming media like that.
Yeah. Dope. So we always ask everybody who comes on the show every single time someone comes on, I ask them, Justin, you know the question I'm going to ask.
Oh yeah.
Live shows, rapping over backing vocals or no?
That's not a question for us. I think I like to think that we're known for not using backing vocals.
One thing I'll say is that like certain people for certain genres in hip hop, it works for. Like you can actually, like, depending on the style of performer you are, like for us it would never happen. Like it's just not a thing. because of the style of music we make.
Mhm.
Because like the people who watch and consume underground hip hop, if you do that shit there, they're just gonna be like, "What the fuck is this? Who are these people? Why do you think that are you playing your song on stage? Like that's no." But we see like some incredible, more like mainstream or pop artists who do that, and I think it enhances their stage show, like to a
Right.
so that they don't have to rap every single word on the it's
You have to have a certain amount, certain venue to do that. You don't want to be doing that in a venue that's holding 20 people. My opinion, because your vocals should be able to cover everything for the most part. You get your hooks and things that need certain effects on it. Sure, whatever, leave it in there. But I think for the most part, you shouldn't really need it. Pop acts, whatever. Yeah, that's a whole other fucking story. Whatever. If you're doing the Super Bowl, you're probably gonna need some backing vocals behind your shit a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, just no. I feel like having the all original vocals at every show really just makes it like a new song every time for the person who's coming to watch the show. So like if you got fans who are like, you do 3 shows in a week and you got some of the same fans at the show, they don't want to hear you spitting over your fucking shit that's playing off your Spotify. They want to hear something fresh and kind of like maybe a little bit different, just because like the flow and the energy or whatever. That's like what they're paying for, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And it's cool with you guys too, because I always mention this is having a hype man is like an essential fucking part, I feel like, of hip hop that sometimes is missing from a lot of people's shows. It's almost like if a fucking hype man is like a pillar of hip hop, really. My opinion. Like you got graffiti and b-boy and whatever, hype
when
man
you're saying
too.
if your job is to be an MC, your job is to rock the crowd,
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's if you can't do that, then you like Jensen, as far as like classic hip hop is concerned, like not classic, but like the elements of it. If you can't do that, then you have no business on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
There's no why you shouldn't call yourself an MC or a performer if you can't perform, if you don't know how to do that.
Right.
And there's something that like you should be learning that throughout your time, because no one starts like great, unless you're like Biggie or someone who's like supernaturally good at like rocking the crowd. But that's a skill that you can learn the same way you can learn to draw or something. Like
also performing live just takes away the crutch from having a live track.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it builds more character in your performance, and like when people come to see you, they're like, no matter if you've done that song 100 times, kind of different audiences, it's always going to be a new thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of like someone coming out to see you, is like they want to see it, live, not like what it was when they heard it already. But yeah. So let's talk about like favorite songs or projects that you've ever released. So like if someone was like, give me one project or one song that is like, what you would consider the best one or your favorite one, what would that be?
that's a difficult question, especially because we have a bunch of unreleased stuff that's coming out like very soon. Is like right up there with anything that we've ever put out, or actually better than a lot of the stuff that we've ever put out.
How?
I like Ancient Aliens a lot. We played it earlier on the show, but like that's definitely like something that I feel like gives like an audience a good idea of like what we do. Like it's like heavy with bars, but it's also like you can follow it along pretty well. It's got a pretty solid like direction and indication of like what the story of the song is telling. Like me and him have like I just like the vibe of it. I really do.
Yeah.
That's definitely in my tops. I would go with a project that we did with James EPB. Shout out James EPB.
Fuck yeah.
Relative Emotion. It's a 5-track EP that we did with James EPB. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I like all those tracks, but Where the Fuck We At is the title track on there, and I would,
there it goes.
Yeah, I'm checking it out now. So
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm checking that out.
It's a really fun project, and you know, uh,
Also, like shout out James EPB because that was a whole different style of working. Like that was we got together. This dude is maybe the best freestyler I've ever met. Like as far as like bars go, like, and I know we all know a bunch of really good freestylers, but like this guy brings it to a next level. He's an unbelievable poet, but also like just if he step on the stage, like he's never gonna do something he wrote aside from like a poem. He will just freestyle your entire show, and you'll be fucking blown away. You'll get like incredible imagery, like a poet's imagery in just a freestyle format. I'm like, I miss hanging out with the guy because it's just like I haven't seen him in a while, but like I miss that fucking guy.
It was great because like when we worked with him, like me and Noodles are used to writing and having our shit down. He had trouble like remembering what he wrote, and so it was like a struggle to do that, which is opposite. It was really good to see because this dude just freestyles everything. He wrote some fire and was like not used to doing it like that.
Yeah, like yeah, because like I like to freestyle, but it's not like the bread and butter of what I do as an artist. Like it's just I just like doing it because it's a good time. But this guy is like steps to the studio and will take a 2-hour session and just freestyle the whole thing and come out with unbelievable. Shoddy works the same way. This dude that we work with, Shoddy, is like, I mean, Shoddy can make 5 songs in 2 hours because he's just his mind focuses that way in a way that my shit is just all over the place. I'm gonna spit about some meat cleavers, and then I'm gonna spit about gummy bears, and I'm gonna spit about some shit. My shit doesn't focus down like jumbled mind.
Hell yeah. So you just talked about you got some new stuff that's coming out soon. What do you guys got that's coming out? You want to talk about that?
So yeah, it was originally going to be a mixtape where we are going to use some like industry beats, some kind of certain things that we had just come along with and made it like but somewhere along the line, one, it was taking way too long to make, and two, so we're just going to release it as 2 parts of an EP, like basically EP1, EP2. And it has, I think each one will be about 5 or 6 tracks, and we've got a bunch of different styles. Like that's the cool thing about this project is that we decided that we're gonna just do a bunch of different stuff, like not specifically like trap, but also like just how there's like 19 genres that all fall under like hip hop or rap. So it's like you've got your West Coast, you've got your East Coast, you got your dirty South, you got your hyphy shit, you got like all this different stuff. And I was just like, why don't we just try making like one song of each of these different styles? And it took so long to make just because as I said, it's discombobulated because we're trying to work on like 10 different songs with 10 different styles. But we finally kind of got laser focused about figuring out which ones that we had to prioritize, which ones are closer. And so we just laid them all down, and they're kind of sitting ready to kind of be organized into a cohesive structure to release. That's going to be our EP. It's just going to be, I don't know what we're going to call it yet. We got to kind of freestyle a name for that shit. But yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's good. I mean,
do you have like a time frame where you think it might be done, or like?
Hopefully in the next month or 2. It's like pretty much the material is more or less ready to go. It's just the organization because it's going to be 2 parts. We got to figure out which one's going to be on part 1. That's going to release first, and then which one is going to be on part 2.
We're on the final parts of figuring that out, which is, we all write music and do music. Being on the final part means the project's complete. It's going to take some time before everything is done. Besides, like, not everything.
Yeah, we got to polish it. It's just it needs polish.
It's really
so like. This is being recorded at that place you'd mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Dope Land headquarters right now.
Shout out who is he's the main engineer in Dope Land. He's a genius, and
Yeah, it's dope when an engineer just fucking just gets it, and like you go in there and they just know what to do when you're in there. They got your settings for your vocals all set up. You don't have to fuck around with too much shit. and they kind of know how you operate. That's always good to have.
It's also nice, it's one of those things where we had engineers a lot of time who knew who we are, but it's hard to find someone. This sounds corny, but like who understands like, what you are, like
Right.
as far as like an artist, like a specific style, a specific kind of music, a certain like we have a lot of aggressiveness in our music, and then there's like certain engineers who are just like take down that aggression. You're like, no, if that's what this is, then that's what it needs to be. And some people like I like working with Who Is because he's just this guy who like he'll direct us in a certain way because he's a producer and engineer, but he's also like he'll go, no, this is the time. Like get fucking mad. Let's go. Like this is the time for you to, there is times to be not mad and there's times to be mad. And I like that he recognizes that. Also, yeah, next level shit.
So I want to talk a little bit about new rap versus old rap real quick. So like, um, so there's always artists in like every era of music or rap or whatever where you don't like them. So like, be people from the '90s, 2000s. I'd just be like, oh, I don't want to listen to fucking Soldier Boy or shit like that, and then it goes true for like even new artists. You got good artists that are new, like Kendrick and sometimes Drake, and Kendrick, Cole, whatever, we already know. Haven't heard from Kendrick in a while, which is disappointing, but I'm sure there'll be something soon. And so then you got Little Pump and all these other people, and I feel like to a certain degree, you know, I'm not seeking out Little Pump and listening to that, but some people are. And what blows my mind is like what we've got into a lot of times doing this kind of discussion on here is like some people aren't listening to the rap for like the message behind it. They're listening to the music for more the vibe or whatever, right? So like they just want to hear a vibe and they don't really care what's going on. It's almost like background music. So like in a way, like what's really going on here? So like for me, what's your stance on that? What do you think of these new age artists that are coming out and really saying not much as far as content's concerned, but are like putting out songs that are like hitting the radio like crazy and influencing people in all these ways? What's your take on that? What do you think of it?
I mean, I'm a lot more forgiving of it now than I used to be. Is what I'll
Yeah.
say that. Like, I've kind of understood that like it's like anything, whereas like as long as there's a market for it, there's gonna be people who want to make that kind of thing. Like if that's what people, there's clearly people who want to listen to that. So I'm not really begrudging anyone who makes that kind of music. It's not something I would want to do because I want my like music to like I like to make music that I would want to listen to.
Yeah,
Uh, and but like I don't know, like I can just sometimes want to listen to music and vibe out, and I understand that. It's just I think it's weird that there's this like the mainstream appeal of it is all that, and that's like kind of
yeah,
all that they sell that like that's part of the hip hop narrative that like has always been pushed is like they're always just they equate rap music with the ignorant shit that the radio plays,
oh yeah,
and it's like everyone's parents go like, isn't that the stuff with the and that's just like that old person mentality.
yeah. Yeah, they hear the same 13 songs on the radio all
Yeah,
summer
and it's
talking about
what
WAP
the
and
fuck
all
does
this
it
other
mean?
shit. And they're like, wow, what the fuck is this? And really, majority of people aren't listening to that. It's just what you're hearing, being forced to listen to. I feel anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've worked with a lot of younger artists recently, more than in the past. It's kind of gained us this respect that we have for like sounds, good sounds. Like if it's good, it's good. There's certain songs like from Kodak Black that I actually like, but then there's certain sounds that I'm like, this is a travesty
Yeah,
because I'm an artist and a poet, and I want to find the balance between like making that vibe, but also saying something and having a person be able to be like, dang, this is really good, and it has that vibe, and it's that lyric. So that's kind of my stance on
Yeah, like I don't know, like if I don't know if there was any way that maybe myself 7-8 years ago if I could have ever listened to Chance the Rapper and thought it was like good. But Chance the Rapper is fucking fire. That dude is unbelievable, and I love listening to him, and I love what he does with his music. But I feel like that's a part of like I also hate this old ahead hip hop mentality where they're just like rap nowadays, blah blah blah, this thing, and it's like I'm sorry, man. Like maybe you're just old. Like rap has always been like a younger person's game. Like it's no offense. Like some of the older artists are still making fire music.
Yeah.
But that mentality of like everyone thought the next generation was whack. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely you gotta adapt and stay with the times. You gotta like sometimes throw in a little triplet flow here and there, but don't dumb down what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Keep with the same message. Like for me, I like to every song I like to kind of have some sort of message in there that talks about something that's gonna mean something, and you don't have to change that to kind of stick with like the new age, like because like a lot of those features I've been doing, those recent ones, like I've been switching my flow like crazy. I do a little bit of the regular, do a little bit of fast and triplet, then like I'm trying all kinds of different things, but what I'm saying really isn't changing, like it's still consistent. And I feel like some of these some of these older artists, came around, like Snoop Dogg. Remember when he was talking about the sibbity bibbity bibbity, but now he's doing songs for these people. You know what I mean? So, and he's come around to it. And if you've ever really listened to like or broke down and looked at the lyrics for like some of these Migos songs and shit like that, like some of the shit they're saying and how, if you've ever tried to write a rap to do that kind of flow, like it can be difficult. It's not as easy as some, they think
hard.
that it is. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to rap and then get that triplet flow kind of to be down and actually saying something. And sometimes with the accents of Migos guys, you gotta listen to it and actually look at the lyrics to see what they're saying and be like, oh shit, if you break it down, it's actually bars. Like no doubt about it. So I think a lot of it, just like you said, it's the new generation. You're quick to dismiss it, but if you fucking really just kind of dive into it a little bit, I think it can be a little more forgiving. I don't really think I'll be saying that like about like Lil Pump. Like I said, I got things against Lil Pump. I don't really like this guy. But yeah, there's definitely some good stuff out there, and I feel like if we ever get another album from Kendrick, that would be great.
Yeah.
If they're listening, just where's the fucking album?
I think when Kendrick came out, I think people knew he was good, but he also received that like natural hate at first.
Yeah, definitely.
Proved himself as like
what I'm scared of is it's been so long since we heard what he did, and what he did. His last project was just like, it was almost like a perfect fucking storm of everything. It was just a great project. Now, and I feel, I don't know, because I don't know this guy personally, but it seems like maybe he's feeling it. Now, he did do some features on some songs here and there along the way, but I think he's feeling the pressure to follow that up. And I'm hoping he sticks to what made that project so great, that same thing. But I feel like what it's going to be is it's going to be a lot of different shit that is like maybe even off the wall, like strange. Like this is not what we were expecting, I guess, And I'm hoping that it's more like, The Pimp a Butterfly or whatever, like that stuff, and less like maybe going new. But with every artist, that happens with every artist. Remember, Snoop Dogg was fucking doing reggae for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they all go through phases and do shit, and I mean, it wasn't like the worst reggae I'd ever heard, So it is what it is. But I'm just hoping for Kendrick anyway, because I had his fucking shit on repeat, and I've been waiting, and I'm like, when? Because I keep hearing rumblings. It's coming here. No, when is it coming? I want to hear what is on it and how he's progressed, and if it's been like a good or a bad thing. But for the most part, the new generation of rap, some may not understand it. And at first, a lot of people who were, boom bap kids, like, I mean, we saw all we had growing up in the 90s and 2000s was fucking straight boom bap, and to move away from that to the newer stuff was like, especially at first, man, that stuff that was like late mid 2000s that was coming out of like Atlanta. For me, it was like, it was just a lot of wishy washy like trendy shit, like one hit wonders and all this other shit. I'm like, damn, when at that point, I'm like, when is this gonna fucking change? And I'm glad it has made a shift, and more people have come out that are actually putting out decent content. That's not just like trying to capitalize on the fucking money that's out there. Um, but yeah, so what we talked about new projects, right? What's coming out? So how about we're gonna play? It's 9:52. Yeah, we're gonna play a couple of songs. So let's pick a couple more songs to play, and we'll do like last shout outs and final shout outs. So you guys want to shout out anybody? This would probably be a good time to do that. You got any final shouts? You want to plug social media and everything? This would be a good time for that.
Absolutely. I want to shout out you guys, man. Thanks for having us. It's
Yeah.
really, we appreciate it so much. I want to shout out Cambridge Hip Hop, Bridge Syph, which is like a driving force right now in the whole Boston hip hop scene. Like just getting everyone together, organized, just meeting each other, and just kind of find a better word, just making friends with all people that are also in your same community, just making good
Yeah.
music, learning who people are. I remember like there used to, a few years ago, it was just this worst mentality of like everyone just against each other instead of having a community and building each other up. So like I really see like a groundswell of that, and I think Hero and Barsoverbars is doing that as well.
Mhm.
Dope Land, which we're a part of, like doing that, just trying to help everyone achieve the level of success that they want and or deserve. Like I think it's, it's always been that crabs in the bucket shit where everyone's fighting each other, but now we
Right.
have the opportunity to build each other up, build the fucking bridges. So like anyone who is doing that and elevating that is really special to me. Also want to shout out Dope Land because Dope Land has been helping us creatively to the utmost.
Yep.
Shoddy, who is Sleaze, and the whole team over there has just been created this incredible atmosphere for creativity and production that has never, at least that I've never experienced before. So,
Yeah.
Stress.
I mean, you said it all. What else to say?
All right.
So, shout out Boston music, Massachusetts music, bars over bars, everybody who's grinding every day, using their creative skills and putting it on stage. Not easy. It's just fun.
Yo, and shout out to my family, my mother, my father, my sister, and all my extended family. Like I fucking love those people, and they do like, just help, like, encourage me. And I mean, it sounds like I'm accepting a speech, or accepting an award. But I love those people. I love them, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, speaking of like accepting awards and shit, be on the lookout because Bars Over Bars is planning some sort of shit here in the next year or so where we want to do some sort of gala or like something like that for Bars Over Bars and have like because right now it's like I think 116 artists been booked since March of 2020 through Bars Over Bars, 54 shows. So out of those artists, feel like a lot of them do a lot of work. Every artist out here puts a lot of work into their craft and should be recognized for it. And so yeah, we're working on something cool, and we'll obviously keep everybody up to date on that. But yeah, it was great having you guys on. And if you want, just shoot me two more songs off Spotify, and I'll play them both for the lead out, and we'll just get out of
Yeah,
here.
actually, we have a track with Hero the MC on
That's on his polyvinyl chloride.
Polyvinyl
Oh yeah,
Chloride.
yep,
So
yep.
That's none
So-
other than on that joint. That was a great
Yeah,
project to do.
and we got another one on Spotify. Is off the Relative in Motion. It's called 123.
1, 2, 3. Okay. All right.
Um,
So
Actually, real quick before we get out of here, we have a show coming up next weekend. It's actually a festival out in Maine. It's called the Blossoming, and we're hoping that we can get anyone who would be coming out or has access to go up to Maine. Tickets are buy one and get one half off or something right now. Trying to get as many people out there and have like a really dope time in the woods. Shitload of performers. I don't know if you guys know Jarve or like a bunch of really incredible.
Jarvis from Vermont, right?
Jarvis from Vermont, and he's a fucking dope spitter.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blossoming, is that what it was? The festival's called
Blossoming, yeah.
And that's
So
in where? Where is that at? Do you know?
It's in Rumford, Maine, which is
Rumford.
about 3 hours north of Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's like an outdoor thing too, right?
Yeah, it's a weekend
Cool, yeah.
event.
Sweet.
Camping.
Sweet. Yeah, that'll be dope. And yeah, I mean, festivals are always awesome. It's great that we're actually back being able to fucking have them again, you know. So
Yeah, at least for now, yeah.
yeah. So I guess I'll start with none other than because I'm kind of sitting on it right now. So
Yeah.
that is off polyvinyl chloride, which Hero dropped. I don't know, like last month or something.
Yeah, a month ago.
So shout out Hero again.
Yeah. So none other than right here. Check it out.
5, 4, 3. Excellent. Sammy Noodles back. The magnanimous track damage. Direct mics faster than captains can ask for a manager. Flows fantastical, diet all natural. The thoughts that collide in my mind is so irrational. Faster than Barry Allen, stronger than Barry Bonds. Heavy like the crown of the king. His job to Barry pawns. Watch how I flip the script with the flick of a wrist. Bars splitting your weight while I just sit in the crib. But that's quarantine, right? Distorted real life, but we still making crowds move like they saw the green light. Word to gridlock, traffic and Boston, making ups look awkward like slacks on action bars and heavy metal arms. It's Jackson Colossus with article asking about the juggernaut. They say he's unstoppable. Frank has to send his shots. The penetrate to tissue. PH Jackson hero. Well, that's a crossover issue. None other than the man with the bad new styles that will be born. None other than I be the king. Young Paul was big. None other than the man with the bad new styles that will be born. The man on every occasion. Still kicking it like drop call quest and then put a foot on your chest to get a hit. When my dog slice, that's the head of a bull stick. Not hearing what I write, let me grab you a Q-tip. If Rack send me a beat, and better be the exclusive. He's go for it, been touring through some new shit. Next level, no experience points. I drop a coin in the game, and I'm ready to destroy. My skills on point like a flying dart. I fear the heart of a man. I wanna catch what I toss and thinks nothing about fucking with Boston. What it costs is a leg and an arm, put him in coffin. J. Conway, I'm flipping the wontons. Cold like the planet of hearts with no tauntauns. Fresh and fanatic with the style switching up. A prince with no stretch, got the cleanest of cuts. What up? None other than the man with the bad new styles that we want. None other than
No.
I be the king, young Paul was big. None other than the man with the bad new styles that we want. The man who on every occasion. Here I come. Check the mentality and the Boston streets rapper quality. Talent quality after party, 3 MCs heard audibly. Ignite the cipher like the human torch. Kicking crazy balls, punch you in the balls like blood sport. Kick you from afar. And shout out John Clyde and Court. Hero grab the loudspeakers like incredible help. Fanatic assault to better revolt. Like a Cali lie. Smoking for Friday, told us take another poke. Yeah, a renegade to your entire platoon. Come outside with gold masked up like Danger Doom. Rattle the cage and like the lion, I consume the soul caliber, no challenge. You do the high noon, unlimited ammo. Toss grenades like cartoons, gravitational pull of the moon, reacting typhoons. No time to reach for the gun in the holster. When people do what they supposed to, screaming out of scope sky. None other than the man with the bad new styles that we want. None other than I be the king, young Paul was big. None other than the man with the bad new styles that we want. The man on every occasion. Here I come.
Shout out Hero for that. That was a fucking great song to do. I love he sent me that beat notice.
Super Saiyan. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. A murderer, paranormal, abnormal writings and journals, rap till esophagus burning. Philosophers higher learning, quote the words of Eric Sermon. Fuck a generic version, created diversion. Rappers uncertain, can't talk in person. Dispersing, cursing verses, researchers immerse the person. Purchase merchants, resources, in their jugulars for certain. Close the curtains, we insurgent, bursting, surface for divergent. Hit them with the reversal, ammunition dispersal. For slacking in inertia, passion and earth. While rations of purpose, for practical purpose, we smoking the earth up in the satchel like Big Bertha. Hide in the dark like Mercer, rapidly attack the beat like tactical forces. Graphically detach neck from the torso, slash it up like Zorro till they finish Mortal Kombat King Goro. Watch the metamorphosis, a 0 to a hero, stacking up the Elder Nero, flipping contortionist wheels. The PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3. It's just him and him and him and him and me like 1, 2, 3. And if you say fuck him,
They only
you
have
gotta
3
say
videos.
fuck me like 1, 2, 3. It's the PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3. On the surface of what I'm saying, I'm on the shelf
I'm
next
above
to this
you, yeah.
mental dreams. Factions reign internal, mind made in the infernal. Verbal velocity, on the bridge philosophies. It's got me turning into Socrates. Spastic energies, dripping into psyche. The attempt to centralize your ventricle. I string a theory just together. I think the raindrops eternal. Blacksmith stokes the fire, and maiden speaks a liar. Way from the weary wandering soldier. I tried, told you, ship turned over. Hemoglobin woven open. Spoken from a view that don't really make it fact. Hold it all together, some call it tact. Presuming amicable reality. Rock torch, breathe is gone. Eyes open but not reborn. It's the PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3. It's just him and him and him and him and me like 1, 2, 3. And if you say fuck him, you gotta say fuck me like 1, 2, 3. It's the PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3. Yo, we back from the dead, paranormal activity. A bunch of wild beasts, yo, is raised in captivity. My ministry spit heavy artillery at your infantry. Leave you standing all alone like the Statue of Liberty. Blitzkrieg is raw, quick, horrible hardship. Your broad gets used and tossed aside like a guitar pick. Execution flawless, leaving you fools caustic. And maintain the enterprise on some Captain Picard shit. Let's hit the vlog, kid. Fuck staying sober, ride till I die like Dale Earnhardt in Daytona. Hijack the plane, I try to see a layover. Fuck a paper chase, we kidnapping the bank owner. Then we wildin' in the Federal Reserve, acting up like a child when the vegetables are served. Spark flame for the cake, bitch, celebrate your birth. The caliber like Gallagher, splash a mellow when it bursts. It's the PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3. It's just him and him and him and him and me like 1, 2, 3. And if you say fuck him, you gotta say fuck me like 1, 2, 3. It's the PHX and the EPB like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I just want to say it's I'm looking at the shit over here. It's like a goddamn shame. 8 monthly listeners. What the fuck?
Right.
People need to step the fuck up. 12
Yeah.
subscribers on the YouTube. Come on. These people are sleeping right now. Seriously, for real.
Yeah.
For sure. We have to put the more working on that.
Yeah, the marketing aspect has been very lax until about 2 weeks ago. And
No, but seriously, the shit is fire. So keep it up. And yeah, man, if you're trying to get some music videos done, hit me up.
do it.
I got like so many in the pipeline right now. I did like 4 for Hero. I got a bunch of Libsy still got to drop. Hero just dropped fucking Boston today. I did that video.
I saw that.
I
Yeah,
did
that's
Welcome to Hell, and like I got more that still haven't come out yet that are coming out. I did one for XL, doing one for Chemic, and I did one for MoFlow. Got more coming from him. So like, yeah, if you guys in the market for a music video, hit me up. I'm down in Boston or Mass, New Hampshire area every month. I go down every month and I spend like a week plus down there. And I love doing music videos, so like it's my favorite thing to do, like my new shit. Still like to make music, but making music videos is fucking funny. Plus I saw like you guys like to get into it. I saw that what was that Politically Erect? That video was fucking hilarious, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I love that shit. So yeah. hit me up, man, if you're down to do that, and if you're down to fucking work. I got boom bap beats too. Jean D was on my show actually. We did like a Wednesday show together, and yeah, he mentioned you guys, and that's like, he's like your number one fucking proponent, and like fan, dude. He's always mentioning you guys, talking about you. So shout out to him again before we get out of here. But we'd love to have you back on sometime in the fall, maybe November or something. Maybe your new stuff will be out by then, and we can talk about that or whatever. So.
That'd be great. Yeah, thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Sounds good. So take it easy, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.